Greetings from World University and School on Monday, February 2nd, 2026, from near Canyon, California, 94516, in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. And as we wait to see if people will join this open WUAS news and question and answer weekly business meeting, loosely conducted in the manner of Friends Quakers Unprogrammed, I'd like to share a little news with you and from an agenda, from the agenda beginning Lewis Mountains Glacier National Park from last week, January 26, 2026, as it's posted in both blogs, worlduniversityandschool.blogspot.com and scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, on Monday last week, beginning Lewis Mountains Glacier National Park, I think. So just to check if people are seeking to join this open WUS news and question and answer, sent an invitation to this open weekly business meeting yesterday evening, Sunday evening, to possibly 1,800 people. And sometimes people join. It's a helpful process when people join. It brings out new focuses for World University and School. And it allows World University and School to respond to interest out there. And as the de facto presiding clerk and recording clerk, loosely in the manner of unprogrammed, friendly NTF Quakers, I can hear what you say regarding World University and School more directly through such WUAS weekly business meetings, and potentially respond as World University and School seeks to offer free online degrees, bachelor, PhD, law, medicine, IB high school, or similar AAAS, Associates of Science degree, 2-year undergraduate degree, and master's degrees in all 200 countries and in their main languages with time, but first beginning in English. And also free wiki schools for people-to-people wiki teaching and wiki learning in all 7,159 known living languages, where you can simply edit a page at a World University and School open wiki school and add something, or teach to your YouTube channel and then add it to a wiki subject page at World University and School, or create a new wiki subject page in English or another language, and teach something to your video channel and add it to the wiki school or wiki page you created. And also potentially, as these develop as large language models and interactively, potentially with Gemini AI, and in that World University and School is in a Grow with Google WUS program. World University and School's courseware seeks to grow from MIT OpenCourseware in 7 languages and Yale Open Yale courses and other great open courseware to offer an alternative potentially in your country, in your language, to the courses that might be offered at the university you might go to in your country, in your language, and so that you can learn toward a free WUS degree from home in your country, in your language, with time. Just checking to see if people are joining us. So further, dear World University and School community, Universiteans, Stanford Law Codex Executive Director Roland Vogel, and Peter Norvig, Google AI Director and Stanford Distinguished Education Fellow. All. Greetings and Happy New Year further from World University and School. Building on CC4 MIT OCW in 7 languages. The link is from opencw.aprende.org and Wikipedia, Wikidata in about 342 active languages. World University and Schools continue to plan online free to students bachelor, PhD, law, MD, IB high school, similar AAAS and master's degrees in each of all 200 countries and in their main languages, and as WUS proceeds with accreditation. And in a Grow with Google WUS program too. World University and Schools weekly business meeting. This is it, is February 2nd, 2026. And it's at 9 a.m. Mexico City time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Mountain time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, Western Europe, 10:30 p.m. India time, 1 a.m. Tuesday the next day, Hong Kong time. But please check your time converter from any of your 24 time zones to join this open WUS weekly business meeting with Zoom URL in the blog posts below. So the agenda for this week is in the blog post beginning Lewis Range, Glacier National Park, Montana, and all the best abolitionally, a best STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, Creative Commons licensed, open courseware, wiki, at World UNIVANDSCH on Twitter, X. Hashtag WUS abolition movement is growing to protect people. And see the blog post beginning Lotus Kamala Padma in my blog from July of 2025, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com 2025 /07 / Lotus Kamala Padma.html. And in WUS seeking to code for all 7.9 billion people on the planet, and to facilitate free universal education that is wiki, people to people, and to end poverty worldwide. Friendly NTF, NTQ, Quaker greetings. Scott GK McCloud. Recording will be posted here at youtube.com / Scott McCloud World University / videos. So we'll focus a little bit today on how best to develop a realistic virtual Earth for synthetic biology, a realistic virtual Earth for biomedical engineering, and potentially in how to view Google Street View in a smart meeting room, which is a video from Igloo Vision in Shropshire, England. Check out the video. Let's turn this into a WUS multimedia hospital room. And at the cell view level and the molecule view level and the atom view level and the qubit view level, with massive data libraries for filling in this n-dimensional space from all sides in Google Street View with Time Slider, potentially, or building from that. So the video minutes from Monday, January 19th, 2026, are posted beginning Livingston Range, Glacier National Park, Montana. The blog posts begin that from January 19th in both blogs, World University and School.blogspot.com and scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. Check it out. come into conversation with it. I continue to get interesting responses in a whole variety of ways to these agenda items. And it makes me appreciate the value of sharing this WS Weekly Business Meeting on YouTube too, and with its agenda items. So agenda item 1, Stanford Law School, Second Order Constitutional Theory, was a presentation on January 21st in the Stanford Constitutional Law series of talks with Professor Aaron Tang, who is at UC Davis and Stanford Law and Yale University alum. Fascinating talk. How could we turn this into a large language model? His second order constitutional theory to potentially inform even a whole variety of justices from the US Supreme Court, possibly, to federal courts and similar. And could, if it was a successful large language model, if Stanford, for example, Stanford Computer Science with Stanford Law School coded it, perhaps it could begin to address even digitally as a large language model, as a artificial intelligence with machine learning, ongoing questions that would free up possibly justices to further interpret the US Constitution, for example, in legal cases. So please check out the agenda item 1 and the email I sent to Aaron Tang and Michael McConnell, who's the Stanford Law faculty member who organizes the Constitutional Law series. I also asked them in building out a possible large language model at World University and School for Supreme Court cases, and regarding a presentation that I heard at Stanford Law Codex in May of 2023, 2.5 years ago, 3.5 years ago, from Sugam Sharma, PhD, regarding egalis.com, the idea to potentially add all PDFs from the Iowa Supreme Court rulings, state of Iowa, and their Supreme Court's rulings going back to potentially the beginning, into a machine learning large language model that's predictive with machine learning based on the data it gets. So from the PDFs from all the Supreme Court cases in the Iowa Supreme Court, that might predict future cases based on this set of data, and wondered how this might emerge. And having heard this elegalis.com presentation by Sugam Sharma in Stanford Law Codex 3.5 years ago or so, I created the Iowa Law School at WUAS and added some references and resources from eLegals. Interesting set of possibilities regarding this second order constitutional theory and large language models, potentially for the state of California, for example. And I haven't yet created a state of California law school at World University and School. There are about 9 countries beginning law schools at World University and School. Jamaica Law School at World University and School, India Law School at World University and School, not yet in those countries' main and official languages, but planning to go that way. wondering how potentially second order constitutional theory might find a way forward with computer science. And in this process, I also reached out to potentially the Stanford Computer Science Department regarding a presentation I heard at Stanford in 2017, 60 creating world-class computer science at Stanford, 60 years of innovation, and am wondering further how World University and Schools realistic virtual Earth for history, for law, might dovetail with possibly second order constitutional theory as a large language model, and also potentially, say, the Iowa Law School at World University and School developing or experimenting with large language models with machine learning predictions that would help parse and read, say, the state of Iowa's Supreme Court cases. So, wondering further, and in communication with Professor Aaron Tang and Professor Michael McConnell, about accrediting World University and Schools law schools, either ABA accreditation or possibly a parallel ABA in the state of California accreditation. And with Professor Aaron Tang, based at UC Davis in Sacramento, the California state capital, curious whether there might be a way to begin, for example, a state of California law school at World University and School and get it accredited. Thanks to Aaron Tang's remarkable knowledge of legal process, both regarding second order constitutional theory, regarding the US federal law, and also regarding state of California law. And could such accreditation potentially, say, first for a state of California law school at World University and School, make World University and School relevant for students applying from all 50 US states to the California Law School at World University and School, or the law school at World University and School, first in English, potentially also from all 200 countries, first in English. So accreditation, could we become accredited? Could WUS become accredited by the ABA and similar in the US? And with regards to also creating 200 online WS law schools in each of all 200 countries in their main languages, where US ABA law school accreditation or similar would likely be relevant for prospective students. And a caveat here regarding WS California law seeking law school, the WS California Law School, which hasn't begun yet as a wiki page or a wiki school, seeking ABA accreditation. California's accreditation is different from the American Bar Association's law school accreditation for both agencies. Quote, the American Bar Association, ABA, is the primary national agency for accrediting US law schools, setting standards for curriculum, faculty, and bar passage rates, with most states requiring ABA approval for bar exam eligibility. Though exceptions exist, notably in California, which accredits its own schools and allows graduates to take the state bar, and all regarding developing large language models for your eminently large language modelable second order constitutional theory in some of these regards, Professor Aaron Tang, and regarding teaching US constitutional law in California and around the US. So, P.S. I added after Sugam Sharma's May 11th, 2023 Stanford Law Codex online meeting, the following: Illegalis.com is exploring adding the state of Iowa's Supreme Court documents and cases regarding generative AI and machine learning legal information technologies to Creative Commons licensed Wikidata, which is Wikipedia's backend structured knowledge database in about 342 languages, as a backend structured knowledge database with querying that you, Sugam Sharma, PhD, whom I, Scott G.K. McLeod, communicated with at the May 11th, 2023 Stanford Law Codex online meeting, would like to work with at illegalis.com. And regarding the Iowa Law School at WUAS, wiki.worlduniversityinschool.org/wiki/Iowa Law School at WUAS, accessible from the World University Law School, which is wiki.worlduniversityinschool.org/wiki World University Law School. And we'd like to offer free online degrees in law after we become accredited, emerging from some CC4 licensed MIT OpenCourseWare courses and similar, as World University and School seeks to gain reimbursement from all 200 countries' departments of education in some of these regards too, as we use and build upon CC4 licensed MIT OpenCourseWare, now in about 7 languages. So Professor Aaron Tang, Professor Michael McConnell, how further might we build out such large language models of your second order constitutional theory and WUAS law schools too in CC0 licensed Wikidata and C the PPPS, which WUS, which Wikidata, World University and School, has been in since the mid 2010s, and again Wikidata is in about 342 active Wikipedia languages as a backend structured knowledge database for further such AI and ML developments. Thanks again, Scott G.K. McLeod. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Georgia Astor from my blog, scott-mcleod.blogspot.com, from January of 2026. So agenda item 2, and a related Stanford Constitutional Law Center's talk that just preceded Professor Aaron Tang's by Professor Nathan Chapman, titled Due Process, Pirates, and Drug Runners. So a few days after his talk, I emailed Professor Nathan Chapman, and back in Georgia, I think now, and Professor Michael McConnell, and asked how might it be possible to add the most recent Stanford Constitutional Law Center's talk, Due Process, Pirates, and Drug Runners, which examines constitutional law, particularly in the late 1700s and the early 1800s, to the America WUAS Law School. And that URL is wiki.worlduniversityinschool.org/wiki/World University Law School, such that it could become a resource, the video of this talk. And how could we add it to the maritime law wiki subject at World University and School? wiki.worlduniversityinschool.org/wiki/maritime_law, because this talk had some fascinating historical knowledge about maritime law in the first half of the 1800s, for example. And potentially regarding also beginning law schools in all 200 countries from nation states at World University and School, each nation state, all 200 of them, to become a major research university at World University and School, accessible online from home and in their main languages. There would be potentially remarkable documentary paper legal records of what happened in the Atlantic Ocean between America, the Caribbean, Cuba, France, England. In all of these countries, national libraries, for example, that would make the maritime law wiki subject, wiki school, become very relevant to each of these countries, for example. I don't know if there are many MIT OpenCourseWare courses on the maritime law wiki subject page yet, but perhaps there are one or two. I further emailed Professor Nathan Chapman and Professor Michael McConnell as a NTF, non-theist friend, unprogrammed friend, Quaker, and conscientious objector, and both of them had co-authored a book on conscience and the law. And in MIT OpenCourseWare-centric Wiki WUAS, growing an abolition movement worldwide to abolish the wrongful buying and selling of people in the illegal sex, drugs, violence, car theft, military targeting, etc. industries in the US internationally, I had some questions about what role abolitionism in the US played in US constitutional law from its writing, late 1770s, I think, maybe maybe mid 1780s, through, say, the Emancipation Proclamation in the US, 1865, regarding who has the right to declare war, Congress or the president. But we'll perhaps follow up on these if I have the good fortune to attend another excellent talk of yours, Professor Nathan Chapman. Much of Professor Nathan Chapman's talk was about US constitutional law and who has the right to declare war, Congress or the president. And further, I also wonder even how an iterating hashtag realistic virtual earth and hashtag realistic virtual earth for history, and please see Peter Norvig's incredible hashtag Tulify AI WUAS article, quote, revolutionizing education with machine learning and AI, hashtag World University in School, updated March 2nd, 2024 from the Tulify AI URL, where he mentions a realistic virtual earth for the first time other than World University in School mentioning it that I know of, and to which we all might be able to wiki add resources for a new theory, academic theory, and academic method I'm calling Ethno-Wiki Virtual World Graphy, or Law Wiki World University, Law Wiki Virtual World Graphy, or History Wiki Virtual World Graphy, or STEM Wiki Virtual World Graphy, and see in my daily blog, the blog label, Ethno-Wiki Virtual World Graphy, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/search/label/Ethno-Wiki-Virtual-World-Graphy, and think in Google Street View with Time Slider, and how being able to add documents, pictures, each of us from all our countries, how this might allow us to address some of the US constitutional questions Professor Nathan Chapman was asking in other ways, in new ways. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Georgia Astor from my blog from January 2026, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, 2026/01/Georgia-Astor/HTML. Agenda item 3, Twitter X set of posts regarding even an aging reversal machine, hashtag aging reversal machine. And see again how to view Google Street View in a smart meeting room as potentially an aging reversal machine. So a set of Twitter posts in these regards. And hashtag aging reversal machine at World Univ and SCH in hashtag realistic virtual earth, hashtag for genetics, grown from hashtag HTGAA 2026, how to grow almost anything synthetic biology course 2026, Harvard and MIT course on synthetic biology, online, free, global listeners welcome for Harvard and MIT registered students, and which could become a science course for matriculated students at World University and School too. An aging reversal machine at World University and School and a realistic virtual earth for genetics, grown from HTGAA 2026, hashtag synthbio course with professors at Geo Church, at David Sun Kong, who's a faculty lead in the MIT Media Lab, and in how to view Google Street View in a smart meeting room, hashtag Igloo Vision. And regarding the aging reversal genetics wiki school at World University and School, and a course. So an aging reversal machine at World University and School in how to view Google Street View in a smart meeting room, with a aging reversal genetics course. Could we develop this in HTGAA 2026 synthetic bio course with professors Geo Church and David Sun Kong? Stay tuned. I think it begins tomorrow. HTGAA 2026. So further, agenda item 3A, inventing an aging reversal machine with parallels to Cyrus Clarke, Clarke, who's in the MIT Media Lab, I think from England originally, and the Anemoia device invention, which MIT professor Hiroshi Ishii tweeted about on December 11th, 2025. Congratulations, Cyrus Clarke, at CYRUSCLARKE, on inventing the Anemoia device and your successful presentation at NEURIPS, NEURIPS 2025 at the Media Lab. Hashtag tangible bits, hashtag tangible interfaces, at hashtag tangible media. Check out what the Anemoia device is. I think it makes sense. Odors emerge bespoken from images. And I've explored this. This is sort of agenda item 3B somewhat in the University of California, Berkeley Tourism Studies Working Group paper, also paper I wrote in around the year 2000, Gazing at the Box, Tourism in the Context of the Internetity, and regarding the idea of that I had seen in La Villette in Paris, the Science Museum there, where you could see a computer screen, and the idea was that you would eventually be able, with roses on it, a picture of a garden with roses on it, and that eventually you would be able to smell these roses from a computer screen. Fascinating that Cyrus Clarke has created a device that would facilitate this, the Anemoia device. And see more about this in the blog post beginning Cairn Gorms from the north of Scotland, natural area. scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2026/01/Cairngorms.html. Agenda item 4. Let me just check to see if anyone wants to join us in Zoom or otherwise. Not yet. Agenda item 4. Set of Twitter posts regarding targeting organs at WUAS, like eyes or ears, and aging reversal genetics. So in these regards, set of Twitter posts, Twitter X posts, I searched on, quote, George Church, hashtag age reversal, for hashtag targeting organs WUAS, video quotes, and found a video of him with Rhonda Patrick. How to develop in a hashtag realistic virtual earth for aging reversal, hashtag realistic virtual earth, hashtag for aging reversal on Twitter X and LinkedIn sometimes. And in our hashtag avatar agent electronic health records with hashtag Kaiser Permanente. Check out those Twitter posts and more in a blog entry regarding this. Watch the video again with George Church and Rhonda Patrick. So a related set of Twitter posts for agenda item, how best George Church, hashtag Dr. Rhonda Patrick, in hashtag realistic virtual earth, hashtag for aging reversal, and in hashtag targeting organs WUAS for hashtag age reversal with our hashtag avatar agent electronic health records and hashtag KP NorCal to begin to accelerate and scale these physical digital gene therapies. So targeting organ gene therapies. And regarding the video between George Church and conversation and Rhonda Patrick, and you can find the video URL in the Twitter post. Agenda item 4B, I think. And this is a very helpful picture, image of one conceptualizing of the avatar agent electronic health record with AI idea, with a human figure and another on a wall that's digital, and another part of the wall that has DNA strands, which could be digital at the molecular level, and another image of a brain, which could allow one to scale in and out from street view level to cell view level to molecule view level to neuron view level to atomic view level, etc. And integrated with DNA and integrated with the human figure image, and another image of maps of the world with the United States, North America, South America, Northeast Asia, Africa, Australia continents, and potentially in World University and School, seeking to create avatar agent electronic health records for all 7.9 billion people on the planet, and to facilitate a further aging reversal genetics, genetic drug therapies, and extreme longevity genetic drug therapies, potentially to help all 7.9 billion people possibly live longer than 122 years of age. And even as their, for example, eyes and ears targeting organs partly get younger, possibly with epigenetic programming and similar with OSKM, Yamanaka factors. Stay tuned. Agenda item 5. So there was recently on the Association of Internet Researchers email list a final call for papers to the 2026 International Conference on Social Media and Society, hashtag SM Society. And I emailed back to this list and Harry Dyer at the University of East Anglia in England, east of London, asking if I might give as a paper the first chapter in part 2 of my Society, Information Technology, and the Global University book, possibly in 2026. So this July, mid-July of 2026, or possibly in 2027, but it's a biennial conference, so it'll meet next after 2026 and 2028. At the 2026 International Conference on Social Media and Society, which will take place in Glasgow, Scotland from July 13th to 15th. And read more about this in the blog post, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2026/01/cairngorms.html. And Harry Dyer, who's an organizer of this conference, wrote back and said, yes, I'm more than welcome to submit an extended abstract. So I submitted an extended abstract, the beginning of chapter 9 for Society, Information Technology, and the Global University book, forthcoming 2026, potentially, academic press at World University and School. And you can read that extended abstract in the blog post beginning Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park in my blog from January of 2026 too. Begins Loch Lomond. Agenda item, I think 4B, but it may, numbering here may be incorrect. I asked what Google's approach to AI and learning is as I was preparing this extended abstract, and got an incredible reply. Interesting to see where Google is heading with AI and learning, and regarding World University and Schools focus on how AI and machine learning will develop in all 200 countries. And for these online free degrees, bachelor, PhD, law, medicine, IB, high school, AAAS, and master's degrees in all 200 countries' main languages. Read more about this, Google's approach to AI and learning, in the blog post beginning Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park. Agenda item 4C. And in response to submitting this extended abstract for this Society and Social Media Conference, and regarding WUS developing a realistic virtual Earth for science and STEM field sites and social sciences and classrooms, and a realistic virtual Harbin hot springs for ethnographic book project number 2, I came into conversation with Google's Gemini AI, and again got a fantastic, incredible reply. Creating a realistic virtual Earth, RVE, for scientific inquiry, spanning from the planetary scale down to the subatomic G-atom and G-qubit levels, is a concept moving from science fiction toward active supercomputing projects. By 2025, several digital twins of Earth have already begun to integrate these scales. World University and School, WUS, is advancing its realistic virtual Earth, RVE, by integrating the complete MIT OpenCourseWare curriculum into a multidimensional, wiki-based simulation that maps knowledge to specific geographic and temporal coordinates. The next steps involve utilizing AI like Gemini and the Fugaku supercomputer to scale with G-cell biological models to global social science simulations, effectively creating a digital twin for tourism, scientific inquiry, and memory restoration, etc., by layering historical data via a G time slider and electronic health records onto G Street View. WUAS aims to build an interoperable everything platform where users can virtually study at Reed College in the 1970s to explore the genetics of longevity in a single immersive interface. Read further about this in the blog post beginning Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park. Agenda item 5. Spain, WUAS, and Spanish language, WUAS, in approximately 21 countries out of 200 at World Univ and SCH, building on hashtag MIT OCW in Spanish, SPANISH, and emails with former WUAS board member Juan Mendez in Spain, and see the wiki subject page for the World University Foundation, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/World University Foundation. And Juan Mendez's LinkedIn profile, I think, is there. And regarding adding the following set of Twitter X posts to both the Spain World University and School, which is in English now, but planned in Spanish, and the Spanish language wiki school subject page at World University and School, which is also just in English so far, but planned in Spanish, are the following Twitter posts. Hashtag Spain WUAS at World Univ and SCH, building on MIT OCW in SPANISH, grows Spain World University and School and Spanish Language University School. And see the hashtag MIT OCW opencw.aprende.org/courses/translated-courses/Spanish. So it's already, MIT OpenCourseWare is already somewhat in Spanish, and you can access that from the URL that begins opencw.aprende.org/courses/translated-courses, which is MIT OpenCourseWare's listing of, I think, 6 languages in which MIT OpenCourseWare has been translated. And further, where in a hashtag Walmart WUAS collaboration, Walmart is in Spanish, and see item A below. So Walmart is in about 19 out of 200 countries, and they may be in 5 or 8 Spanish-speaking countries among these. And see again, or see the agenda item in the blog post that begins Livingston Range, Glacier National Park. That's also posted to LinkedIn. And see also in the blog post that begins Karen Gorms in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, from January of 2026. Agenda item 6, statements of information card filings and 990Ns with the US government and the state of California for World University and School, the first of 2 WS wings, a 501c3 or similar nonprofit, see the GuideStar profile, CC licensed Best Steam OpenCourseWare Wiki World University and School, Wiki wing, and the URL for that is worlduniversityandschool.org, has been accepted. So the 990N, I think, has been accepted for the 501c3 World University and School, a filing. It's like a statement of information with the US federal government. The second legal entity, the exempt state of California legal entity, is still to do. URL might be bizfileonline.sos.ca.gov. And The third legal entity, the other wing of World University and School, the WS Corporation, the second of two WS wings, a for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California, the WS Corporation, WS Press, academic press in 7,159 languages with machine learning, worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html. That statement of information with the state of California has also been accepted. The WS Corporation's statement of information has been accepted. Agenda item 7. This is to Peter Norvig, or this is regarding Peter Norvig's incredible Toolify AI WUS article, Revolutionizing Education with Machine Learning and AI, where he says that a realistic virtual Earth requires collaboration between scientists, physicists, chemists, and biologists. Their research can shape this virtual Earth, mapping scientific knowledge onto the virtual Earth. So that's a Twitter post on just a single Twitter feed for World University and School, World University and School. And see more about this in the blog post beginning Australia's Phillip Island hibiscus in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from January 2026. Agenda item 8. So Snow Lotus Caesarea Landiceps. The next email online restorative yoga class on Saturdays. And as we may live to 150 and well beyond, happened this past Saturday and the previous 2 Saturdays only for individual practice from our own homes, but not yet in a Zoom yoga hall. But in the process of facilitating this restorative yoga class, and as we may live to 150 and well beyond, I'm emailing further about approaches to this. And again, yoga-wise, could I make an IF1 protein gene molecule with it and drag and drop it into a realistic virtual Earth for proteins with our avatar agent electronic health records, and in Google Street View with a time slider, with Little Pegman becoming your and my avatar agent electronic health record, and even for controlling aging therein. So the idea is to use experimentally and exploratorily and yoga-wise something like the Happy Atoms kit for mostly middle schoolers, which has a physical digital conversation where yoga-wise we potentially could make a molecule such as the IF1 protein gene molecule, which may control aging and which may be part of the mitochondrial complex. We make it with these Happy Atoms kit and physical connecting items, and drag and drop, and then digitize it, and then drag it and drop it into a realistic virtual Earth for proteins at the molecular level. With our avatar agent electronic records, and in Google Street View with a time slider, and with Little Pegman becoming your and my avatar agent electronic health records, and even for controlling aging therein. Further in some of these regards, I'm wondering to what degree it might be possible from the Oakland Hills above Berkeley to teach this yoga class from the shop in Canyon, California, 94516, and see the blog post beginning Snow Lotus Caesarea Landiceps, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, 2026/01 Snow Lotus Caesarea Landiceps. So this restorative yoga class, and as we may live to 150 beyond, is carrying on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, with some emailings. If you're interested in receiving these emailings, email yogamacflower@gmail.com and I'll add you. Agenda item 8A. Hashtag, so this is regarding yoga as well, and regarding Quaker yoga, Unitarian yoga, 8-limb yoga, yoga genetics, and My Yoga Notations, which is a web page, and yoga at WUAS, in a potentially hashtag realistic virtual earth for STEM at World Univ and SCH, and a hashtag realistic virtual earth for yoga asana. How will these emerge in one hashtag realistic virtual earth and for hashtag for aging reversal and hashtag for extreme longevity? Retweeting blog post, a Twitter post from mine, Q_yoga Macflower, in these regards. See the blog post for these that follows. And further regarding yoga and WUS, how could I or anyone code the beginnings of the IF1 protein gene molecule with a physical digital Happy Atoms kit? And this retweets Michael Forrest's Twitter post regarding a molecule, just a picture of a molecule, which he writes is a drug predicted to slow aging. And I recently saw just this morning that he got a patent from New Zealand on, I think, cancer, a molecule that may prevent cancer, and may be related to this molecule that he posted, and which George Church also retweeted to George Church's Twitter feed. Read more about all this in the blog post that begins Australia's Phillip Island hibiscus in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, from January 2026. 8C. So I asked Gemini AI in some of these regards, and yoga-wise too, can you read or parse the image or molecular schemata in this Twitter X post from Michael Forrest, and then tell me the name of the drug or molecular compound depicted here, please, by Michael Forrest? And Gemini AI, incredibly, after asking it a couple of times, was able to call it beta-quilene, and characterized this molecule in remarkable detail. More about this further in my blog post, beginning Australia's Phillip Island hibiscus. Agenda item 9. Here's the beginning of free Pakistan World University and School, planned in, for example, the Punjabi language, at Pakistan World University and School, which is only just begun and only in English, accessible from nation states at World University and School. And the beginning of the Punjabi language wiki school, the Punjabi language wiki subject page, also at wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org, planned in the Punjabi language as well, accessible from languages, where Punjabi language is also a language, one of the 22 scheduled languages in nearby India and widely spoken in both countries. Please let Pakistani, Punjabi speaking friends and colleagues know about this. So I've come to know great Pakistani Fahad in the town of Moraga, and am exploring how we might develop this in Pakistan, develop Pakistan World University and School in Pakistan, and regarding some courses in the future on, for example, Pakistan's religious history and political history in the Punjabi language, in the Urdu language, in the Pashto language, in the Sindhi language, etc. And coming into conversation with these 3 free MIT open courseware courses, for example, about American religious history and American political history and the American Revolution. And eventually, for free World University and School of Free WS degrees online from home in Pakistan, anywhere speakers of these languages live around the world. Read more about it in the blog post. Agenda item 10. So I was in front of the Cal Sailing Club in Berkeley, the Berkeley waterfront, on Saturday, 1/24/26, and met a Stanford, I think, graduate student or postdoc, Lapo, and who was from Italy originally. And we talked about many different things regarding World University and School and his research into procurement and his writing of his PhD, procurement processes, and his focus on natural language processing and large language models regarding his economic research and in his laboratory at Stanford. And I shared with him the Pi cryptocurrency and asked him how it would play out in Europe, with Europe having adopted a common currency possibly 25 years ago or so, the euro currency, which has been adopted, I think, in about 21 out of 29 European Union countries. So I think the Eurozone is where the euro was adopted in about 21 countries, not sure the exact number. And in the European Union, I think there are around 28 or 29 countries. And he said, and I wondered whether Pi cryptocurrency from Stanford, PhDs, could play out in a similar way, to become adopted by the European Union, Eurozone countries, and potentially even all European Union countries, and how Europeans would navigate that. And I think he said they would just sort of shrug their shoulders. I think they would accept Pi cryptocurrency if it became a main cryptocurrency in the Eurozone and in the European Union. Fascinating. So I shared with him the incredible revolutionizing education with machine learning and AI. I'm curious how World University and School will play out in all approximately 28 European Union countries and in their main languages for free online degrees from WUAS from home. And shared with him also the 2 recent emails to Stanford Law School constitutional law professors I touched on above in the Georgia Astor blog post in my blog. And I also mentioned how Pat Wilburn, who was a presenter in Stanford Law Codex on January 15th, 2026, about Predict Law, would be an excellent second CEO of the WUAS Corporation even. Pat Wilburn talked about fascinating legal tech called Predict Law that he's developing. And he has worked at both Microsoft in Seattle and Reuters, which Thomson Reuters, which may be the largest legal tech company in the world. And in this process of writing to Lapo and mentioning that how, in my view, Pat Wilburn here could be an excellent second CEO of the WS Corporation, I rewatched the video that Roland Vogel shared with us from January 15th, 2026, where he says that he's going to Davos, to the World Economic Forum there. which is interesting potentially for World University and School too, possibly. Since World University and School, the WS Corporation, became a for-profit general stock company legal entity out of a presentation from Stanford Law Codex, Tom Martin in 2017, in which, in a physical room at Stanford during the presentation, or after which, I produced the articles of incorporation for the WS Corporation in about 10 minutes, thanks to an artificial intelligence program that Tom Martin was sharing called LawDroid. And further, with Lapo, where his focus also is on patenting and maybe procurement in these regards. I shared with him the patenting wiki subject at World University and School for open wiki teaching and wiki learning, not yet in Italian, and check out the MIT Open Courseware courses in it, eventually for credit. Patenting is the wiki subject, accessible from subjects, also accessible from the USA WS Law School. And check out the other 9 law schools I invited Lapo to do in 9 nation states, each becoming part of world-class WS research universities in those countries and languages. All the best. Shared with him also a draft of my extended abstract for the Social Media and Society Conference in Glasgow, Scotland in July of 2026, accessible in the Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park. If interested, thoughts, questions, and suggestions. I haven't heard back from him yet. He said he would get back to me with his non-Stanford email, I think, or his long-term email that wouldn't be a stanford.edu email. So moving quickly to the other wing, the WS Corporation, the second of 2 WS wings, a for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California, also the academic press in 7,159 known living languages, with machine learning and WS educational services stores, physical, digital for books, computers, robotics, groceries, hospital technologies, and similar. An email to Stanford's Law Codex, Roland and Pat Wilburn, and Dave Contreras, the CTO of Predict Law. Thanks again for your great Stanford Law Codex Predict Law presentation on Thursday, January 15th, 2026, and the video URL from that. Glad to have found a Twitter post in these regards, showing that Predict Law has addressing a $61 billion market efficiency, this legal tech that Pat Wilburn and Dave Contreras are developing. And what it does is it's an AI platform that instantly values personal injury cases using 20,000 plus precedents and 200,000 plus data points, addressing a $61 billion market inefficiency. So the question I asked during the presentation was, thanks so much, Pat, and great. How might you be anticipating, say, Waymo robo taxis like this regarding his Predict Law presentation in SF with long data history and even hypothetical Walmart delivery humanoid robots for which there's no data yet that I know of in developing your AI personal injury software, which, as Roland, I think, described in the email invitation, AI-powered legal analytics platform that helps attorneys predict personal injury case outcomes, estimate award values, compare similar precedents, automate intake, and generate reports or demand letters. And in all 50 US states and all of their countries even, all as new markets, personal injury-wise and data-wise too. Thanks, Scott G.K. McLeod, planning 200 online MIT Open Courseware-centric universities in all 200 countries and their main languages, and also in all 50 US states, with free CC4 MIT courses, open courseware courses, possibly informing our law schools, our WS law schools in some of these regards. and regarding possibly teaching and learning this predict law AI legal tech in these law schools. So further, how to potentially integrate your predict law into a hashtag realistic virtual earth for robotics. In one iterating hashtag realistic virtual earth, hashtag for everything, and see Peter Nordvig's incredible revolutionizing education with machine learning and AI. For the first mention I know of a realistic virtual earth. Read more about this in the Livingston Range Glacier National Park blog post. And regarding the WS Corporation. How is the Davos World Economic Forum going? I asked in the process of sending this email to Pat Wilburn and Stanford Law Codex and Roland Vogel and Dave Contreras. Agenda item BB, a Pi tweet to the Chinese consulate of San Francisco and Senator Elizabeth Warren, and regarding how to code for all 1.4 billion Chinese, and sharing and regarding Stanford MindPi and World University and School of the WS Corporation seeking to code for all 7.9 billion people. So how best at Consulate San Francisco Chinese consulate, at Senator Warren, at World Univen School to code for 1.4 billion Chinese, potentially to distribute Pi, cryptocurrency, and to end poverty there too. And that's all in the Karen Gorham's blog post, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2026-01 karengorhams.html. So that's the news and question and answer for today, February 2nd, 2026. And using the WS Weekly business meeting agenda and news from last Monday, January 26, 2026, beginning Lewis Range Glacier National Park. I'll post the recording of this today to both today's blog post and last week's blog post. Today's blog post begins with the Mount Shasta wilderness. Last week's blog post begins again with Lewis Range Glacier National Park, Montana, and also to after I upload it to the main YouTube channel for World University and School, youtube.com/Scott McCloud World University. I'll also post it to the main Twitter feeds and main LinkedIn feeds for World University and School. If you have questions or know of students who might be interested in free WS degrees building on MIT OpenCourseWare and Yale Open Yale courses, please let me know at president@worlduniversityandschool.org. And until next week, February 9th, 2026, Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. Eastern time. I think it's 10:30 p.m. India time. See you soon. Come into conversation with World University and School in a variety of ways online. And see you next week. Thanks again.